regulators in the brain, priming our emotions, some desirable, others not. The more strongly connected we are with someone emotionally, the greater the mutual force. Our most potent exchanges occur with those people with whom we spend the greatest amount of time day in and day out, year after year, particularly those we care about the most. During these neural link-ups, our brains engage in an emotional tango, a dance of feelings. Our social interactions operate as modulators, something like interpersonal thermostats that continually reset key aspects of our brain function as they orchestrate our emotions. The resulting feelings have far-reaching consequences that ripple throughout our body, sending out cascades of hormones that regulate biological systems from our heart to our immune cells. Perhaps most astonishing, science now tracks connections between the most stressful relationships and the operation of specific genes that regulate the immune system. To a surprising extent, then, our relationships mold not just our experience, but our biology. The brain-to-brain link allows our strongest relationships to shape us on matters as benign as whether we laugh at the same jokes or as profound as which genes are, or are not, activated in T cells, the immune system's foot soldiers in the constant battle against invading bacteria and viruses. That link is a double-edged sword. Nourishing relationships have a beneficial impact on our health, while toxic ones can act like slow poison in our bodies. Virtually all the major scientific discoveries I draw on in this volume have emerged since emotional intelligence appeared in 1995, and they continue to surface at a quickening pace. When I wrote Emotional Intelligence, my focus was on a crucial set of human capacities within us as individuals, our ability to manage our own emotions and our inner potential for positive relationships. Here, the picture enlarges beyond a one-person psychology, those capacities an individual has within, to a two-person psychology, what transpires as we connect. I intend this book to be a companion volume to Emotional Intelligence, exploring the same terrain of human life from a different vantage point, one that allows a wider swath of understanding of our personal world. The spotlight shifts to those ephemeral moments that emerge as we interact. These take on deep consequence as we realize how, through their sum total, we create one another. Our inquiry speaks to questions like, what makes a psychopath dangerously manipulative? Can we do a better job of helping our children grow up to be happy? What makes a marriage a nourishing base? Can relationships buffer us from disease? Can a teacher or leader enable the brains of students or workers to do their best? How can groups riven by hatred come to live together in peace? And what do these insights suggest for the kind of society we are able to build, and for what really matters in each of our lives? Social corrosion. Today, just as science reveals how crucially important nourishing relationships are, human connections seem increasingly under siege. Social corrosion has many faces. A kindergarten teacher in Texas asks a 6-year-old girl to put her toys away, and she launches into full tantrum mode, screaming and knocking over her chair, then crawling under the teacher's desk and kicking so hard the drawers spill out. Her outburst marks an epidemic of such incidents of wildness among kindergartners, all documented in a single school district in Fort Worth, Texas. The blow-ups occurred not just among the poor students, but among better-off ones as well. Some explain the spike in violence among the very young as due to economic stress that makes parents work longer, so that children spend hours after school in daycare, or alone, and parents come home with a hair trigger for exasperation. Others point to data showing that even as toddlers, 40% of American 2-year-olds watch TV for at least 3 hours a day, hours they are not interacting with people who can help them learn to get along better. The more TV they watch, the more unruly they are by school age. In a German city, a motorcyclist gets thrown onto the roadway in a collision. He lies on the pavement, unmoving. Pedestrians walk right by, and drivers gaze at him while they wait for the light to change. But no one stops to help. Finally, after 15 long minutes, a passenger in a car that is stopped for the light rolls down a window and asks the motorcyclist if he's been hurt, offering to call for help on a cell phone. When the incident is telecast by the station that has staged the accident, there is a sense of scandal. In Germany, Everyone who has a driver's license has been trained in emergency first aid precisely for moments like this. As a German emergency room physician comments, people just walk away when they see others in danger. They don't seem to care. In 2003, single-person households became the most common living arrangement in the United States. And while once families would gather together in the evening, now children, parents, and spouses find it increasingly difficult to spend time together. Bowling Alone, Robert Putnam's acclaimed analysis of the fraying American social fabric, pointed to a 2-decade decline in social capital. One way such capital can be gauged for a society is the number of public meetings held and club memberships maintained. While in the 1970s, 2/3 of Americans belonged to organizations with regular meetings that they attended, that number had dropped to around 1/3 by the 1990s. These numbers, Putnam argued, reflected a loss of human connection in American society. Since then, a new kind of organization has mushroomed from just 8,000 in the 1950s to more than 20,000 by the end of the 1990s. But unlike the old clubs, with their face-to-face meetings and ongoing social web, these new organizations keep people at a distance. Membership comes via email or mass mailings, and the main activity boils down to sending money, not getting together. Then there are the unknowns in the ways humans around the world are connecting and disconnecting as technology offers more varieties of nominal communication in actual isolation. These trends all signal the slow vanishing of opportunities for people to connect. This inexorable techno-creep is so insidious that no one has yet calculated its social and emotional costs. Creeping disconnection. Regard the plight of Rosie Garcia, who manages one of the busiest bakeries anywhere, the Hot and Crusty in New York City's Grand Central Station. The throngs of commuters passing through the station ensure that on any working day, long lines of customers will be waiting to place their order. But Rosie finds that more and more of the customers she waits on seem utterly distracted, staring vacantly into space. She'll say, "Can I help you?" and they notice nothing. She'll repeat, "Can I help you?" and they pay no attention. Shouting, "Can I help you?" usually breaks through to them. It's not that Rosie's customers are deaf. It's that their ears are stuffed with too little headphones from an iPod. They're dazed, lost in any of scads of tunes on their personalized playlist, oblivious to what's going on around them, and, more to the point, tuned out to everyone they go by. Of course, long before the iPod, the Walkman, and the cell phone cauterized people walking down the street, blocking off raw contact with the bustle of life, the auto, a mode of passing through a public space utterly insulated by wraparound glass, a half-ton or more of steel, and the lulling sound of a radio, started the process. Before the auto became commonplace, typical modes of travel, from walking or being pulled along by a horse to riding a bullock cart, kept travelers in easy proximity to the human world around them. The one-person shell created by headphones intensifies social insulation. Even when the wearer has a one-on-one, face-to-face encounter, the sealed ears offer a ready excuse to treat the other person as an object, something to navigate around rather than someone to acknowledge, or, at the very least, notice. While life as a pedestrian offers the chance to greet someone approaching, or spend a few minutes chatting with a friend, the iPod wearer can readily ignore anyone, looking right through them in a universal snub. To be sure, from the iPod wearer's perspective, he is relating to someone, the singer, the band, or the orchestra plugged into his ears. His heart beats as one with theirs. But these virtual others have nothing whatever to do with the people who are just a foot or two away, to whose existence the rapt listener has become largely indifferent. To the extent that technology absorbs people in a virtual reality, it deadens them to those who are actually nearby. The resulting social autism adds to the ongoing list of unintended human consequences of the continuing invasion of technology into our daily lives. Constant digital connectivity means that even when we're on vacation, work stalks us. A survey of American workers found during their vacation time 34% check in with their office so much that they come back as stressed, or more so, than they were when they left. Email and cell phones penetrate essential barriers around private time and family life. The cell phone can ring on a picnic with the kids, and even at home, Mom